Hello everyone! Greetings dear Aristobats, fellow immortals and mortals yet to be claimed by the night. Welcome to this lady's humble abode. Regardless of what's been promoted in the background, today we'll be dealing with the story of the boy, the myth, the legend, Ezra Theodore. Yes, I'm doing my greeting 2 versions after the original, but what can you do? I had forgotten to finish the opening. Anyway, let's get into it. So here's what happened. I pressed on the story to check how many parts this story has, and it took me to a prelude, so that's why you didn't see the opening screen. Now, I was in a state of shock and didn't really memorize it, but I believe the title was The New Curator. Anyway, that's a grandiose music. Was it always like this here in Laplace? Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Laplace Museum, I'd like to welcome you to the Snowy Mountain Ecology Exhibition. Make sure to head over to the main entrance hall in 10 minutes for our opening ceremony. As part of the ceremony, our new museum director, Mr. Ezra, will have a speech. Excuse me, what now? Is this after the event, or is he already the museum director? He's a little too young, that's why I'm asking. The crowd shuffled towards the entrance of the exhibition hall.
What a coincidence.
Funny running into you here. Quite the unexpected meeting.
Oh, hello.
You're that guy with initial for a name. What was it again? Oh guys, the fandom is going to go bazingas for this one. X and Medicine Pocket finally meet. This is X. You ought to get to know your colleagues, Medicine Pocket. It's not my job to socialize. X is an unknown, something to be unraveled, not remembered. He's positive, so he doesn't mind. Let's just focus on the exhibition. It's our new colleague's first project. It's our new colleague's first project. So that's what they do in Laplace, like when somebody is new, they give them this much power? Didn't she say director or something? Director, yes. But I suppose if the project is his own, I understand why he would be a director. He climbed the mountain solo, gathered all the exhibit items, and provided his own annotations, all without the help from the Laplace field team.
Technically?
That's no easy feat. He must have put in serious effort. I recommended he bring more people, but still, he went alone. Aside from the tools and equipment, he had no other resources.
Looks like...
So Ezra reached out to you. I suppose you wouldn't have shown up at such an Arcanist gathering otherwise.
Fine.
Well, seems our little mushroom got some help. He wasn't alone, after all. What did he ask you for? He needed a weapon, something subtle, flexible, and with a bit of humor.
And I...
happen to have such a weapon.
Get to the point.
I gave him a gun of sorts.
Huh?
I suppose it's some kind of wacky gun with a twisted barrel. The conversation was cut off by sudden commotion, and the young researchers turned to the podium. Did you say director Ezra? He? The assistant who announced the director's speech grew pale and whispered into the intercom. Then, maintaining composure, she turned to the audience.
We're terribly sorry for the inconvenience.
Apologize for the inconvenience. Director Ezra's speech has unfortunately been postponed until 3 hours from now. However, the exhibition opening will continue as planned. Feel free to explore. This was supposed to be his moment.
He is late?
Mesmer Jr. frowned as the assistant rushed off backstage.
This is not good.
First impressions matter in social interactions, and from what I know of Ezra, he cares about these things. Well, I think it could all turn out to be a blessing in disguise. Remembers a speech delivered on time. A late director will be much more memorable than a punctual one. He doesn't need any gimmicks. His exhibits are all excellent, enough to make everyone remember the new director of the Laplace Museum. Look over there. Exit pointed to the end of the display case, where 2 staff members in grey-white uniforms stood in front of a glass showcase. One of them was pressed against the glass, nose almost touching it.
Oh dear.
I've never seen a rotel nugget this big.
This is the real good stuff.
Mr. Ryan usually exhibits specimens from the botanical garden, but this is the real deal.
Have you met him yet?
This new director seems to have some fresh ideas. Have you met him? No, nearly as soon as he came from the Australia branch, he set off to the Snowy Mountains. Not many people have seen him. But everyone's curious why he chose the theme. His previous research was on endemic fungi in Australia. This seems completely unrelated. Oh. Oh, guys, we finally have a non-backstory type of side story. Well, now he's starting to impress me.
It's impossible.
An amateur researcher in search of minerals on a solo mission on the snow-capped mountain sounds like the beginning of a pulp adventure. Shifting their gaze, the young researcher nodded in satisfaction.
Look!
See? Everyone's enthralled by him.
What's wrong?
Mesmer?
Nothing.
It's nothing. I was just thinking, he really did it.
I
never thought he would succeed. Why, girl? I mean, she's pessimistic in general, let's be real. Oh, okay. Let's go to the first part. Black Lake. Oh, see, this is what they do. They really give you an atmosphere. Look, we have starting altitude, target altitude, maximum altitude. The lake's surface is like a mirror cast from obsidian, its shadows concealed by clouds and mist. Beneath the water lies another. And we can get all these. Change of the coils.
Hello.
I'm here to check in. I made a reservation over the phone a couple of days ago.
Mr. Theodore, right?
Call me Ezra. Go straight down the corridor and you'll find the room at the end of on your right. The director has been waiting for some time.
Hello, young man.
Oh, that's a new character.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Ryan. I'm a bit disappointed we don't have a backstory because Ezra would look adorable as an even smaller boy. Like, I wanted to see how he was. Was he still going after fungi at the age of 5 or 6, like gathering stuff from his mother's garden or something? Because he did mention his mother in the main story, so I wanted to see. Dang it. Hello, Dr. Ryan. I've read of the impressive things you've accomplished in the papers, from the Reincarnator to the Uluru Games. Yes, confirmed it's after the Uluru Games.
This is something most humans cannot achieve. I believe you're qualified to be the curator of the Laplace Museum.
Thank you.
For your confidence, Doctor.
But
I'm not sure I'm ready. I'm only a researcher. I don't have any experience in management.
Relax.
Relax. Don't worry, my boy. Dr. Ryan stepped out from behind the desk and led Ezra to a bookshelf.
Look.
From the first row here to the last volume at the end of the shelf, there will be all the experience you need.
what is this?
Notes on management? Yes, precisely. Every note taken from the very first day of the Laplace Museum until this very day is kept here. You will have plenty of time to dive into them, get familiar, and gain that experience. But not right now.
Now, you must put it into practice on your own.
I will.
So, I'm to take charge of holding an exhibition, right? I caught wind of it through the Laplace liaison? Anyway, I can't say it. Exactly that, my boy. You might organize an exhibition focused on your Australian fungi, or perhaps bring that long research story on the Reincarnator into the spotlight, both very worthy of showcasing.
But
No, Dr. Ryan, not those. The young man shook his head slowly but firmly, then set about expressing his own idea.
I think
I want to put together an exhibition centered around the ecology of snowy alpine mountains.
Mountain?
Snow Mountain. You know what? I think he doesn't want to mention the Uluru Games and the Reincarnator case because he promised to Spathadia. That's somewhat unexpected.
yes,
Snowy mountains, yes.
I will.
I intend to climb the Alps, the Matterhorn to be precise, from the north, collecting plants and minerals to bring back to the museum for display. Ezra had made a checklist. He came prepared. I've got here an itinerary, a distribution of exhibit items to be found in the Alps, and a climate comparison for this month with previous years. Take a look. This is a worthwhile plan. You've thought through the potential dangers and avoided the trickiest approaches. It all seems feasible. But why?
I don't understand.
What do you mean by why? Why pick the ecology of the snow-capped alpine mountains as your exhibition theme?
Look,
You've spent years on Australia fungi and gripping story in the Reincarnator. Why would you propose this instead?
I know.
Director Ryan, I know how you've been portrayed in academic journals and other written sources. The mycologist from
It is
Australia.
without doubt that.
I'm happy to share my mycology research with my colleagues to show off the results of my years of work.
But
This time is different. My choice of exhibition theme holds a special meaning to me. Oh, he comes from there?
don't worry.
Trust me, my decision to go with the snowy mountain theme was carefully considered.
I don't recommend that.
As the director of the Laplace Museum, I wouldn't recommend taking on such a challenge for your first step.
Relax.
But my time in that role has already passed. The decision-making power for your exhibit lies in your hands now. The young take risks, revel in adventures, and we need that boldness. As for an old gentleman like me, risks lie in my past. I had a peaceful life and quality time with my granddaughter. Mesmer Jr. stood outside the office door, clasping her hands together, taking deep breaths as if trying to calm herself.
Good.
Don't worry, it's all done now. Oh. I didn't read that, excuse you. You can finally relax, she said. An unexpected visitor entered.
I'm sorry.
Did I startle you?
What?
Why are you here? And who brought you? Another Laplace researcher. They told me I could wait for you to finish your work here.
You shouldn't.
If you wanted a consultation artificial somnambulist, you should have gone through the proper registration process and waited for your appointment, rather than slink into my office without a word. She stood in the corner, not budging an inch. Around her hung an air of sharpness accented by disinfectant. But Ezra was accustomed to diffusing tense situations.
I'm sorry.
Apologies for my abruptness, Miss Mesmer Jr. I'm Ezra, the new director of the Laplace Museum. I've been waiting for the chance to ask for a favor. Ezra? I think I've heard that name before. Yeah, Ezra the Uluru Games. I've read about you in the reports. A mycology researcher and a pure-blooded human.
That's right.
You've got me. The girl nodded cautiously where she stood.
I'm sorry.
Did I disturb you? If you would like, I can provide emotional reassurance and counseling. I did this sort of thing back at the Australian branch. I'm here to help, if you're open to it.
I don't need.
No, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Her stance relaxed a bit and she moved to the sofa before taking a seat in the corner. So, what's this favor? I'm afraid I don't know much about managing museums nor planning exhibitions. I'm not sure how it could be much of use to you.
Don't worry.
I know, Miss Mesmer Jr. I'm actually seeking your expertise in magnetism, or more specifically, the magnetic field. Ezra took off his backpack and pulled out a divining rod.
Found it.
This is my divining rod. Thanks to Laplace's tech, it can sense the magnetic fields of organisms and fungi nearby and guide me to traces of their activity. It's been my trusty sidekick through rainforests, reefs, and valleys.
But
I found that in high altitude, its accuracy starts to drop, making my work more challenging. I thought, dear, you might help me figure this out?
Good.
I'll do my best. Mesmer Jr. extended her left hand, waving her electrically calibrated glove beneath the divining rod. On the edge where her glove met the cuff, there was a small red scratch, clearly visible. The wavelength diagram looks complete. Now, let's change the parameters to stimulate low pressure conditions. Yeah, you were right. Malfunction might occur during changes in altitude.
Fabulous.
It's not a serious issue. A simple magnetic field enchantment would properly calibrate it. I can contact even from Laplace's laboratory number 2 to sort this out for you.
Are you listening?
Ezra,
Oh,
I am? Sorry, I got a bit distracted. As if a student called on by the teacher, the boy straightened up, refocusing his attention. Will the enchantment be stable if I were to climb further, say to ultra-high altitudes, above 3,500 meters?
what?
Ultra-high altitudes? Where are you planning to go? The Matterhorn.
You're going to...
You're climbing the Matterhorn.
Yes,
I'm aiming to collect specimens needed for the upcoming exhibition.
you shouldn't.
That isn't a wise plan, Ezra. I know humans have stronger physical endurance than Arcanus, but... so many foreseeable risks. Altitude sickness, snowstorms, avalanches, native beasts, all critters. Mesmer Jr. tugged at her sleeve, her hands itching.
Of course.
Yes, the journey will undoubtedly be very challenging. In contrast, the boy had a calm and determined demeanor. That's why I came to seek your help. I must be prepared for everything to make this crazy plan a reality.
I must...
It's worth the risk for me.
Okay,
Then
I
no
got
one
it.
can then no one can stop you. You're determined to climb a mountain, right? I have a hard time understanding people like you, risk seekers, but I can't stop you. She lowered her head, taking a deep breath. During the journey, if you're lucky enough, you might find a deep red, reflective metallic vein in the granite bodies on both sides of a mountain ridge. That's rutile, natural titanium dioxide. Once processed, its surface can enhance its senses, solving the thorny problem you face. With it, the sensing range of the divining rod will be significantly expanded, even capable of penetrating thick snow cover and complex rock layers. It will be your guidance star in finding those rare specimens. Ezra left, and Mesmer Jr. turned off the lights in the room after him. There in the darkness, she stared at the sickbed as if examining an invisible patient.
Quiet down, okay? Stop talking or laughing.
What? Oh goodness. She shook her head forcefully, as if attempting to throw off some tainted
I
mark.
need to wash my hands.
Where did I put the disinfectant? OCD! Climbing the snowy mountain requires AC. With each climb, the altitude decreases randomly. Retreating ends the exploration. A safe retreat after reaching the target altitude will incur no losses. An urgent retreat before reaching the target altitude will cause a loss of some resources. The percentage of resources lost during an urgent retreat varies by region. Ezra, proceed with caution. Turning the corner of the mountain road, you come across a lake formed by glacial meltwater. Perhaps we will need the water, but does he have a way to melt it? I see in the picture there's fire, so perhaps we should collect some water sample. Or mark the location. You spy an abandoned mountaineering hut, which was or may be used as a temporary shelter. The wind and snow are increasing in intensity. A blizzard will soon arrive. Okay, no impact. Ooh, we're going down now. You discover a cave ahead, a natural shelter from the wind and snow. The sound of wild beasts can be heard coming from inside, but you feel too exhausted to attempt fade. He's tired, though. Oof. I'm testing his patience, guys. The broken cable bridge between the cliffs blocks your way ahead. Ooh, find another road. Okay, I should retreat, I guess. You locate the cable car station, the mountain you mentioned. It appears to have been abandoned. Oof, It gives you a plus if you do the right thing. Good. You find animal footprints in the snow. Ah, no impact. A stream blocks your progress. The stream is relatively wide, but the water is quite calm. What does wade mean? Jump across the stones? Oh, no. That was bad. I won't make it. Upon reaching the target altitude, you can still attempt to challenge the maximum altitude. However, if your stamina turns negative, you will be forced to withdraw immediately and lose some materials. Safe retreat. Yes. Oh, I made it. Circe's plant.
He found it?
You found the rethought?
Okay, I got it.
Prepare the remaining materials to enhance the divining rod for him. Is he still with you?
What?
Not anymore. Where could he have gone? Excuse me, Miss Mesmer Jr. Here, have some hot water, and this is a blanket. Wrap yourself in it. See, she's so sweet, guys. Like, it still bothers me, like I've said in an older video, that there are people that actually hate her. She has a very cold front, but she cares about others, and yeah, she's afraid of germs and taking risks and would prefer to stay inside her little office and not come in any contact with anything that could potentially risk her life. So part of me thinks this is trauma, obviously, because every character in this universe has trauma. Perhaps she lost a parent that was a risk taker, or somebody close to her that was a risk taker. Okay, no. I'm taking this back because I'm stupid. Okay, so the risk-taking issue is certainly what happened with Verting in the fourth? Was it fourth? The third chapter. Yeah, because when she was little and Verting was calling out other kids who wanted to try going out of the Foundation, she was actually pretty brave, don't you think? This was probably the bravest Mesmer we'd ever seen. But after the whole thing happened that everybody died and she found out that, oh, you know, you were lucky that you couldn't come that night that they left the Foundation because they all died, I'm pretty sure that's what shook her. I think that even the way she addresses to Verting now shows that I think she still wants a different life. It's just that she saw what the risk does, what leaving the Foundation does. She lost friends that night, so I understand her fury in that. Now, I don't know what's up with her germophobia though. I don't know if she had that from a young age or if it developed later. And I also don't know what's up with her hatred over some types of arcanus. I mean, apart from risk-taking, obviously. I'm pretty sure she has a reason, and also because I play her, I read parts of her character page, and I don't think that the life she had was an easy one. Like, if she was seeing arcanists losing their minds on the daily because psychologist, hello, she probably has been traumatized by some types of them. Like, from a few things I remember, it was she had a tough upbringing, so it made sense both that she wanted to leave the Foundation and that she is tired of just dealing with all this madness. She just wants, you know, I don't want anything, I just want my peace, and that's it, you know. The boy, disheveled and with reddened cheeks from the cold, stumbled in. But of course there's more to her story, so I'm sure I'm missing a lot of stuff. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, because I haven't really searched enough for Mesmer.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Climbing a mountain is far from a walk in the park, you know. But congratulations on your success. The Rotel sample you've provided is excellent in size and purity. Just a small piece will strengthen your divining rod.
Yes.
I got lucky. Ezra held the hot water, his smiling face obscured by steam.
Found it.
And I found this.
What's that?
Mandrake?
That's right.
Oh, I'm good. Mandrake, also known as a mandrake root or Circe's plant in some places. It's a standard 12 inches with oval leaves and bell-shaped white flowers. I deliberately kept some of its leaves. Since the Middle Ages, alchemists have used mandrake leaves to craft soothing teas, a gentler and safer practice than consuming its roots. It has a long history.
Fabulous.
An interesting tale, but I understand why you've brought it to me. Perhaps it could be useful for your Snowy Mountain Ecology exhibition, but my artificial somnambulist patients have no need for mandrake hallucinogens. Self-deprecating smile appeared on Mensford's face, a sense of humor always a little offbeat.
Yes.
It could be a good exhibit item. I'll set up a spot for it in the exhibition hall, prepare the soil, and calming sprays to keep it from waking up halfway through the exhibition and emitting its peace and screams. But before that, I thought I might leave half of its leaves with you, Miss Mesmer. His face beamed like a flower in the sunlight. Aww.
I don't need
this. I'm not a plant researcher, nor am I in the hobby of collecting such specimens. It's for tea, Mesmer. Mesmer Jr. looked at the mandrake cluster, and frankly, it's ugly. Oh my god, you're so mean! Take the mandrake! Ugly? Ezra widened his eyes with shock.
I didn't know.
I think mandrakes are one of the cuter type of plants used in potions. They have a human shape, and people often prefer things that are humanesque, like dolls or the subject of painting. Somewhat embarrassed, he fumbled the mandrake on the table back into his pocket.
Oh, please.
You have peculiar tastes. Mesmer Jr. placed her hands on her knees, taking a deep breath. So, you put down the rattle and rush half a dozen into my office without looking back, all to show me this mandrake?
Yes.
You've forgotten how it's like having friends, Mesmer. Chill. Mesmer, having exhausted her questions, fell silent, unwilling to speak further on the matter. Whenever two intelligent people stumble over a subject for too long without finding agreement, it's usually best discarded. I just wanted to give you an option. It was a concession. The option to take it. But I understand. You don't need it for now, at least. Still, if you change your mind, please let me know. Ezra stood up shakily, looking at his wristwatch. I gotta go now. I have another meeting. Be careful. Your body's still weak. You should rest a bit more.
Don't worry.
I'm fine. Just a bit tired. Don't worry about me. Ezra shook his head once and then shook it again, almost to convince himself. There's not much time left to prepare for the exhibition. I have to make the most of every moment. This is why you do not pass such a heavy job onto a child. Damn it. He stood up once again, much more carefully this time, his movements slow and deliberate. Glancing back at the door, Ezra bowed slightly and then bid farewell.
Thank you.
Thank you for your help, Miss Mesmer Jr. Angel, I'm telling you. Without your guidance, my journey would have been much more difficult, and perhaps I would have been unable to successfully detect the plants I need. You have been driving force behind the Snowy Mountain Ecology exhibition.
I will.
Later in the evening, I have my assistant send over tickets to the exhibition.
Dr. Mesmer, there's a package for you to sign for.
A letter for me?
A package? Where is it from? It was received by the front desk just after Director Ezra left. He asked me to deliver it to you.
Good.
I'll pick it up later. The package was light, containing 2 tubes of pale yellow hand cream in aluminum packaging, along with a note.
The hand cream is made from honey in Sydney.
I noticed some wounds on your wrists. Moisturizing them could help with healing. I don't know much when it comes to skincare products, but I hope you don't mind the scent. Wounds on her wrists? All this is taking a turn! When will I do this event? I have questions. Event. It's not events. It's a game of the game, but yeah.
Yours sincerely, Ezra.
Look how this little bean will bring down some of this woman's walls. I don't know. I like this one. Okay, a gathering place on the mountainside where mountaineers and explorers come to rest. When a blizzard strikes, travelers sit around the fire. Sailor of the world.
Looks like...
Ezra's a thoughtful kid. He seems to really care about you. In case you didn't realize, let me point it out. He's worried about your anxiety and notices everything about you.
Oh, please.
Just because I have to deal with crazy people doesn't mean I'm one of them. No, but you can be affected by them. If you had half of Ezra's ability to read people, you might understand my reluctance about this. You just gave him a side compliment, though.
I wouldn't turn him down if I were you.
X shifted his posture slightly, his gaze moving to a display case at the distance. Surrounded by companion plants, a cluster of white-flowered white dryads, or Drias octopetala as it was labeled, was in full bloom.
And
It might sound a bit iffy, but if some young kid dragged themselves weather-beaten and food-poisoned to me just to find a way to ease my stress, I'd be more appreciative. Food-poisoned?
as far as I know...
From what I heard, he got caught in a blizzard while hunting for those mandrakes. To stay warm, our mycologist had to eat slices of trico de macornudame from the Australian desert. Soon after, he developed a feverish spike in body temperature. It was his way of playing it safe, and it worked out. He braved the blizzard and unearthed the gorgeous mandrake.
Okay, I got it.
So that's why he seems so weak? I should have guessed.
But...
Don't fret too much. He knows how to take care of himself. After the blizzard cleared, he immediately downed some red flower prickly pear juice to clear out the mushroom's toxins before they could do real damage. By the time he showed up at the door, he was halfway recovered from the poisoning. And then you two got into a talk about guns and such. It wasn't really a gun, but it did shoot a kind of bullet, like little seeds of balls of steel or crystal.
Got it.
I must have ticked all the boxes and left you feeling pleased.
What is this?
This is a slingshot?
Technically?
Exactly, it's called the air-compressed spring slingshot.
Look!
You see, it's compact and lightweight, and you don't need any fancy arcane skill to use it. The Rube Goldberg inside the copper tube handle does all the work for you. X pulled back the slingshot, and the small spring spanning across the rubber dug key emitted a soft hum, ready to unleash a chunk of butter. All you have to do is aim and release. It's that simple. The slingshot's bullets come in different flavors, ranging from electric zaps to tiny blasts, scatter shots, and piercing rounds. As long as your aim isn't dreadful, you'll be more or less safe from the mountain critters.
I didn't know.
I never thought a slingshot could be so powerful.
Welcome to Laplace.
Welcome to Laplace headquarters, where even a shoe sole can hide a foldable explosive. Okay.
But...
From what I've heard, the Australian branch is even wilder than here.
Yes.
Well, you could say that. Ezra lounged back on the couch. Next to him, a steaming cup of tea. He took a careful sip, then winced as it burned his tongue.
But...
Phew! But I'm not part of the research department. Technically, I'm a microbiologist, not an inventor. And I'm sorry I didn't explain what I needed, Mr. X. Ezra shuffled in his seat, searching out a comfortable position before straightening up a bit.
I think...
I don't need lethal weapons.
But
you do need something to scare off any mountain beasts.
Yes.
I suppose I just need to make them go away for a while. That should do it. They might follow you, you know. Beasts can be persistent when protecting the territory. I only need them to leave me alone, just for a little while.
I didn't know.
I wouldn't like to kill them or maim them. You know, I'm planning an exhibition about snowy mountain ecology. If I harmed any local wildlife for this exhibition or disrupted the natural ecosystem, it would defeat the purpose.
Alright.
Oh, okay. X side, taking a seat.
Looks like...
The reports and rumors are true. You really are an incredibly kind kid. He tossed the magazine onto the couch and pulled out a square plastic bag from his jacket pocket.
Come on.
Take this. You won't need bullets anymore.
What is this?
The little gardener bellflower seed home cultivation kit?
That's right.
Bellflower. With his hands lifted high, X stretched lazily as if he were a cat basking in the warmth of a sunny afternoon. You can use these inconspicuous little grass seeds as bullets. They're light and blunt enough. They won't cut flesh or leave a gash, but they'll startle most animals just fine. Paired with the air compressed spring slingshot's thwack, they should scare off any critters you encounter.
That's great!
That's perfect, exactly what I need. The kind-hearted boy practically bounced off the sofa with excitement, but then... Whoa! He tumbled back down. My head, I'm so dizzy.
It's a normal symptom.
The red flower prickly pear juice as an antidote induces dizziness about 3 hours after consumption. He should have warned you about that when you picked them up from the potionery department. X lifted the teapot, refilling Ezra's cup with piping hot tea.
Come on.
Here, have some more tea. I'll make you feel better.
Oh,
Did you brew the tea because you knew I'd be dizzy? To help ease the medicine's effects and to be a good host, two birds with one stone.
But...
Still, I suggest you don't rush to leave. I know you're tight on time, but rest is crucial. You can stay here until the dizziness subsides.
I know.
I understand. I do need to rest. I'll stay here until my body recovers and I'm ready for the next climb. Ezra cradled the teacup, the light brown liquid swaying within.
What is this?
This aroma. Is this Druid's tea? No, it's not. Although they both smell like melted snow, this is just a warming tea made with Croton gratissimus and ginger sting.
I wish I could.
If I could, I'll make a Druid tea for you. A cup of that and you'd be back on your feet in no time. That way you wouldn't have to languish here, chatting aimlessly with researchers.
I didn't know.
Oh, don't say that. I'm happy to talk with you. Ezra struggled to get up from the sofa, but X softly nudged him back into the corner. He's so willing to show you he cares. And that he's so scared not to be misunderstood. Goodness.
Sorry.
I was just joking, kid. You know what humor is, right? Well, scratch that. I should have known that humans lack their talent. Excuse you?
I know.
I know plenty of jokes. I'm just not good at telling them. The boy murmured softly as he sipped his tea, huddled into a corner of the sofa. I asked my mom why once. She just said she's not good at telling jokes either. Even though my friends say stereotypes don't hold true, it feels like my whole family fits the bill. We're not exactly masters of humor. Well, good humor is only a small part of life. It doesn't matter, the Arcanist said with a wave of his hand. So you lack humor, but you have other strengths.
You mean...
Stubbornness. Explained. I'm not saying you lack skills, but from what I gather, you're incredibly determined. You discussed your fantastical plan with Dr. Ryan, wrote your own proposal, and executed it meticulously. Of course, all things a competent curator should do. But beyond that, you turned down all the help the Laplace Scientific Computing Center offered. Take our current predicament, for instance. Those beasts and birds of prey dwelling in the mountains.
I wish I could.
If you wanted to handle things simply, Laplace's task force could clear your path with just 3 sets of tranquilizer darts.
But...
Sure, it might take some time for the task force to prepare the operational plan and acquire the necessary equipment.
That's right.
And indeed, they'd need a little time. But they work fast and wouldn't hold up your journey. Your real reason for refusing them isn't that.
Yes.
Right. I have to personally collect the specimens and climb the mountain under my own power. It's the centerpiece of the exhibition, the thing I must accomplish.
So?
So you believe in hands-on experience when it comes to getting things done?
Of course.
Certainly, just as all naturalists must venture into nature. If you stay away from nature, nature stays away from you. That's what my teacher taught me. Isn't that right? No, it's absolutely right for you. But the world isn't just made up of natural phenomena. There are other manifestations of wisdom as well. Like the hand behind the scenes, manipulating the switches.
Look!
Look here. X reached out, rubbing his thumb against his index finger, and a small golden bead appeared in his hand. I could toss this bead, and it would collide between the teacup and the teapot. After that, it will ricochet to the right, knocking down the upright book on the table, which in turn would tug on the fishing line, rotating gas stove switch 75 degrees in a room 3 doors down, and starting to heat a pot of water. Dude, that's a bit far-fetched. As the water boils, the rising steam would melt the chocolate hanging on the cabinet, and the dominoes, now lighter, would tumble down the ventilation shaft on the 6th room downstairs. Downstairs in the 6th room? That's... Medicine Pocket's research lab. What would happen then? The glass by the potted plants would tip over, spilling water into the soil, and the glass would shatter on the floor. All this just to water some plants?
That's right.
Yes. Although it coats the glass, the potted flower won't wither from thirst. The master of Rube Goldenberg mechanics extended his hand, causing the golden bead in the center of his glove to sway before steadying. Do you want to throw this bead?
Me? I think...
I suppose not. Ezra eyed the golden bead in bewilderment, as if it were the monumental choice. He hesitated, but still spoke up. If I need to water that flower, I can just go downstairs, pick up the glass, and pour water into it. That would save the glass. Don't worry, I'm not lecturing you on how to do things. I'm just curious why you want...
curious.
Sorry guys. I'm just curious why you want to choose the most troublesome, most arduous paths. Any researcher with hands-on experience would want to use our technology. We're all from Laplace after all, and no matter which branch, we stand at the intersection of technology and arcane skill, pursuing a great fusion. No one in the right mind would refuse a ladder when climbing simply because it was his habit not to use technology. Ezra closes his eyes, falling silent, then reopened them.
But this time, it's different.
Because this mountain is special to me. I first learned about it from my family's archives and the stories my mother used to tell me. You could say it is a childhood obsession, but either way, it's something I've longed for since I was a very, very little child.
Got it.
Childhood obsessions. Common theme. The tilted teapot no longer poured fresh tea. It was light, as if there had been nothing left inside.
And I
knew a child just like you. He also loved the mountains, but unlike you, his yearning for them stems from his love of a particular flower, the white dryads. Those small, white flowers with yellow pistils covered his childhood picture book. To him, they represented almost every virtue imaginable. X set down the teapot and stood up from the sofa.
Come on.
Stand up and try your legs, Ezra. It's about time. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. Dizziness is gone. I think it's the hot tea. It really got me sweat out all the toxins. The boy stretched his body, feeling full of vitality again.
That's great!
I felt almost like I never poisoned myself. I think I could set off again right away. I won't stop you. I'm not your doctor. The arcanist opened the door as if releasing a bird about to take flight.
I wish I could.
But if you have some free time, try to enjoy the scenery on the mountain for me. Perhaps there's some lovely white riots there, perhaps not, but it doesn't matter. Just go and take a look.
And then...
So you're just letting him off the hook like that?
Look!
I've told you, I'm not a doctor. It's not my job to look after himself. Giving him some hot tea was about as considerate as could be expected of me. Innocent as ever, Egg shrugged with a smile.
Hey, stop it.
That's not what I meant. You didn't water my plants, and you still haven't tossed that silly bit of priorities. Now I'll probably come back to a bunch of dead plants. Do it yourself! I
Technically?
That's not any of our responsibilities, Medicine Pocket. If you want to keep plants, you've got to take care of them yourself, just like you do with your lab samples.
I have to remind you.
Those plants aren't my lab samples. My current project is about pest control for plants.
Oh, please.
Let's put an end to this pointless argument and talk about what happened next. Okay, let's get a bit higher now and make, hopefully, the right choices. Oh, AC Cosmon advancing +2. I don't like this. You hear the sound of ice breaking. Your experience tells you that's an avalanche coming. Do I look for shelter? Is there any shelter? Or run faster? Both could be dangerous. Hey, I made it. You find a huge rock nearby, manage to survive the crisis. Leave. Okay, advance. A wolf lies on your path forward. Its fur is dark and its hind legs is caught in an animal trap, rendering it unable to move. Help. Oh, and I got Moss Campion. You try to open the trap and rescue the wolf. It looks at you and then runs into the distance. Although you scratch your hand saving it, you still think it was worth it. Okay. A mountaineer is resting nearby. He shares his observations with you. He tells you that a rare plant can be found on the cliff ahead. Go ahead. Okay. You search among the cracks with great difficulty for a long time and find a medicinal plant commonly used to stop bleeding. Although it is not exactly rare, finding anything here can still be considered a fine result. Ooh. You come across some mountaineering equipment buried in the snow. It looks somewhat damaged, but it might still be of use. Gear up. Ah. You select the equipment you need and make some simpler repairs to help you with your ascent. As you move onward, you notice a small path faintly visible under the cover of bushes by the roadside. It is apparent that not many people have taken this path before. God damn it! I don't have enough. The campfire of this temporary cave camp has only just been extinguished. It appears a mountain climber spent a relatively warm night here. Good, but it's still very low. Despite the chances of being slim, it is still worth trying. Fortunately, you don't come away empty-handed. Oh, goodness, please. You pass by a cliff and notice that protruding stone on its edge is perfect for standing on and taking in the view. Do it for X. Yes. Ooh. I have one more, guys. I don't think I will make it. Oof. Oof. You hear the sound of ice breaking. Ah, I can look for shelter. Ooh. I made it! I made it! Safe retreat. Yes. Oh. Okay, this is oddly stressful. Ezra returned to the computing center and headed straight for X's office. Oh, it's you. You're back. At that moment, X was busy trying to extract a gold tooth from his skull. Focused as he was on the task at hand, he didn't bother to look up, but he didn't forget to ask. Is my little contraption still doing the job?
Of course.
Perfectly. It worked better than any slingshot I've used before. It didn't hurt any animals, but I managed to scare them away. It's really come in handy. It's my pleasure, Director. Yeah. The gold tooth was finally dislodged and shot up high into the air. Then it came down, slow and steady, landing in X's palm. There. Now I can actually focus and listen to what you have to say. What's this?
It's...
I stumble upon this Dryas octopetala, a white dryad, on a cliff behind the beast's den. It's not the typical season for Dryas octopetala to bloom, so I only spotted this one. To make sure it doesn't wither, I placed it along with its surrounding vegetation in my foraging box. Though, when it was first placed in the box, it did show signs of withering. I was taken aback at first, but then I quickly realized I could solve the problem. The gold tooth fell into a tin can along with a gold bead, a die, and some crumpled paper. It's beautiful, just as I imagined.
That's great!
You like it? Great! Please accept it as a gift, Mr. X. For me? X paused, suddenly pointing to himself with questioning expression. You're giving me the flower?
Yes.
I thought I might give it to you.
But
What about your exhibition? Dryas octopetala would make for a fantastic addition. You climbed the mountain to find these plants to present them in your exhibition, right?
That's right.
My task is to collect exotic plants from the mountain.
But
I picked the white dryad for you. You generously helped me solve my problem, and this is my way of thanking you. Ezra nodded, then nodded again.
of course.
You could also give it to that kid, the one who's so fond of these flowers. I'm sure he'd be thrilled to see this flower. It might only be a small part of my exhibition, but for him, it'll mean a lot more. The handful of pure white flowers held in the child's hands were lifted up high. He looked devout and sincere, almost like an angel. He just needed a white robe and a trumpet to complete the image. Ezra, do you know what white dryads symbolize in the East?
You mean...
Symbolize? I've heard them referred to as flower of warmth and kindness. Is there another meaning behind them?
as far as I know,
In the East, Dryas octopetala is associated with health and longevity because of their resilience in harsh environments and prolonged blooming seasons. So is it like an Edelweiss? Among the Orcanas who live near the mountains, there is a custom of braiding white dryads into children's hair to ensure happiness and long life. X reached out and took the Dryas octopetala from Ezra's hand. I met that kid back in the orphanage. I was 11 at the time, and he was 9.
Oh,
So it goes back to your past from those days. Now I'm 16, and he didn't get to be 10. Oh,
so?
I have no need for this flower.
You shouldn't.
I would expect X would keep it because it's something he wanted to see, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a few days since I played the first part, so I forget. I apologize. Remember when you said you wouldn't turn down his gift if you were in my shoes? Our situation's a bit different. He's a good kid, I'll give you that. At first I was testing him, but once I got to him, I started to genuinely like him. I want his exhibition to succeed, and honestly, I don't need that flower. X glanced away towards the crowd gathering around the Dryas octopetala display. See? Beauty like that flower deserves to be right here, under the spotlight, encased in that high transparency glass. It'll wow everyone. But your words probably hurt him.
Technically?
I never meant to deceive him, but lying is easy, and I'm pretty well versed in it. Good to know, for the future. He's not to be fully trusted. But I grew up in an orphanage, always surrounded by kids. He's so young that I feel a pang of guilt looking into his eyes, yet mature enough to handle the truth.
I would take that flower if I were you.
She did take Ezra's present, didn't she? It's gorgeous, easy to care for, and it'd make both of you happy. Plus, it could be a part of your complicated contraptions. Brewing dryad tea with a dollop of butter beats regular tea any day.
Sorry.
Hey, you can't expect such a kind-hearted lad to be so selfish, only focused on his research. Not that heartless of a scholar.
Fine. I see.
Uh,
Seems like...
apparently I am Oh. Oh.
Oh, hello.
I heard you're heading to the snowy mountains. Got any room in your backpack? The guest moved around as if it was a home from home, and the host didn't mind. The door bounced off against the wall, still rattling as Medicine Pocket sunk into the guest's sofa.
Of course.
Sure, I'm leaving for the snowy mountains in 20 minutes. I could squeeze in an extra bag for you. The young man flashed a grin as he packed, welcoming his friend officially.
Welcome.
Welcome to my very own turf, Medicine Pocket. This is the first time we're meeting since I moved to HQ. I thought about saying hello earlier, but with the exhibition prep and handovers, I couldn't find the time. What is this accent that is coming out of me?
Hey, stop it.
Don't sweat it. We're not the kind of phony friends who need to catch up often to stay close. A hand popped up from behind the crest of the sofa, followed by a leg. I've got something more important than small talk.
Yes.
Sure thing, go ahead. I'm listening. I'm working on a project, top secret. You're the only one I'm telling, so keep it under wraps. I'm talking about the human stamina supplement, sort of like Picrasma candy for humans. Right now, we've hit a snag in our sourcing.
And you, my friend.
Uh-oh. You happen to be a human. Now an excited head popped out from the sofa's edge. Your snowy mountain trip could be a big help. Remember why I went to Australia?
Of course.
I was the one who told you to head to the Crock and Roll bookstore to hand down a fragment of a potion analysis handbook.
Bingo.
Great memory. Keep working that brain. It's good for avoiding dementia. I've been studying those fragments since I got back from Australia, and I managed to recover the formula for one of the potions.
It's...
The first one? Or the one about mushrooms on page 23?
Neither.
It's right at the end. The page is a mess, but it contains a recipe for bone-melting sacramental wine given by the priests. Those who drink it at night with eyes shining like stars struggle to hold it down, vomiting until they're nothing more than bones. But those who drink it during the day, with fingertips glowing and hot, can walk for miles on end and gain boundless strength. Yeah, but isn't Ezra climbing mountains even at night? Won't that be dangerous to take for him?
You mean...
So, you figure the night people are Arcanas and the day people are regular folks? Ah, okay. I didn't see it that way. Is this a restorative potion crafted specifically for humans?
Uh-huh.
It looks like it. Especially if you consider the local culture and history of Arcanas, the moon, night tides, all that yin stuff usually associated with emotions, inspiration, and omens, which are definitely part of the Arcanas. And in contrast, the sun and daylight lean towards yang, representing that which is guided by light, righteousness, reason. Although sun worship is present in arcane cultures at times, it's used to describe regular folks when contrasted with the moon.
I think...
But if this potion really is toxic to Arcanus or whoever else, we have to treat it carefully. Ezra mulled it over for a few seconds. That's just a sensible guess. We'll need a solid proof.
Good job.
Good. The spirit of scientific inquiry. I like it. Medicine Pocket rolled off the beanbag sofa, lying on the floor. With a push from their legs, they sat up. They pulled out a wrinkled piece of paper from a pocket, which looked like a page from a book. That's why I came to you, and why I think I'm onto something. Is this Pinguicula alpina? Alpine battlewood, every potion maker knows it, far from just your regular flower or herb. So it's needed for the formula you recovered?
Bingo.
Yes, that's right. The legendary ingredient, untouchable by arcanists, is a most elusive plant found on the highest peaks of the Alps. Huh.
Yes.
Certainly. If the recipe includes Pinguicula alpina, then that explains the potion's restorative effects. Almost all arcanists react badly to it due to neuron secretions. Common symptoms include itchy skin, vomiting, and phantom pains that feel like breaking bones.
Uh-huh.
I get what you're saying. You need me to pick some Pinguicula alpina for you since I'm a human and won't keel over?
Bingo.
Of course, there are other reasons, like only your exhibition authorization can bypass safety protocols to get into my lab pronto. My exhibition authorization?
Hey, stop it.
Forget it. There's nothing to worry about. You'll just help me out, okay? So when those old farts come asking questions, you're in the clear. Is that something I should worry about? Yes. Oh, Ezra. The young mad scientist stood up, brushing off imaginary dust from their thighs, warmly embracing Ezra. Aww. The kid wobbled into the hug before finding himself pushed towards the door. Oh, I'll handle everything, alright?
And you,
Just
my friend.
Just grab that damn grass, pluck it, stuff it in a box, and bring it to me. I see. This conversation among Laplace's scientists was kind of interesting because we have this back and forth between X and Mesmer, okay? They're both saying, oh, he did this kind thing for me, but this is how I reacted to his present. And then X goes ahead and says, I'm not that heartless, I just thought it'd be better for him to keep the flower for himself in his exhibition. And yeah, I'm not that of a heartless scholar. And then comes Medicine Pocket saying, I am though. And Benefit immediately hits the head and be like, so you went out of your way to get something for the other two, so how about you get something for me, you know? The others sadly brought up things they like, and Ezra thought, hey, it'd be nice if I actually did it for them because they helped me. But the medicine comes and is like, actually, I straight up need this. Could you please go and get it for me? Like, we don't have time for a small chat or sadly telling you what I like. I actually expect you to bring something to me because you brought to everybody else. Yeah, this was amusing. This is more of what I imagined Medicine Pocket to be. In case you watched my video on the Uluru games and how I explained the difference between expectation and reality for Medicine Pocket for me, this is more of how I imagined them to be. So this is more unhinged to me. So yeah, I enjoyed this part very much.